All right, guys, the old Jeep is back in business. If you've been following my Jeep experience here on the channel, I've been to Blue Holler. I've driven this thing to Georgia quite a few times. I got this thing in Georgia. When I bought it, it had quite a few issues. This is a YJ Jeep with CJ front clip. And so I'll go over the build more in a build video for those of you who are interested. I have a locker that is ready to install now, but where we're at is I just had to replace the slave cylinder. It's an internal slave cylinder, so when we had that ice storm, the slave cylinder failed, and so I had to drop the exhaust, skid plate, drive shafts, and transmission to be able to replace the slave cylinder so I could have a clutch. So already one of the things that is on the list for the heap here is I've ordered a later AX5 bell housing that accepts an external slave cylinder, and I'll slowly start buying the parts for that so that the next time that the internal slave cylinder goes out, probably in 3 to 4 years, and probably again in an ice storm, I'll drop the transmission, replace the entire bell housing, and then I'll have to do a different clutch, different transmission nose, the new bell housing, a whole different system, a pre-bled external slave cylinder, etc. And that way, if this ever happens again, it'll be a 30-minute job that costs me a few $100s instead of what's taken me just countless hours. And a big part of the problem here is I dropped the transmission myself in the yard, in the grass, and moving the transmission jack around and getting everything lined up perfectly. It ended up taking me and 2 mechanics that came, thank the Lord, to help for free. I could not get it in by myself. So this is where we're at. Like I said, the next thing coming is a locker for the front. We need some off-road only tires. They'll probably be UTV Super Swampers that are 31 inches tall and only 9 inches wide. I've already got some cheap painted wheels that I got from those, some OEM Jeep Steelies. We're not going to do anything with the suspension. I gotta get some rock sliders ASAP before I tear up this nice tub of mine. So for anybody who cared, this is just a little bit of a Jeep update. I know I've got some Jeepers out there watching. You will be seeing this thing in a lot more adventures, and I probably won't be driving it across the country as much as I used to, because a lot of times I'll probably be pulling the camper and taking the whole family. However, if I'm not doing that, we'll be back in the Jeep. And for anybody wondering from whenever I've mentioned it, no, it is not tall enough to sleep comfortably under. Almost. I almost got it, but not quite. And to clarify what I said about off-road tires really quick, I feel like the average person is looking for the perfect tire that doesn't exist for a Jeep. The average build, 999 out of 1,000 people are like, I want a 33-inch tire with a 3-inch lift, and I want it to be aggressive enough for the off-roading that I don't do, and I want it to be quiet, and I want it to handle well in the mud, and I want it to be the perfect street tire, get perfect gas mileage, but be aggressive enough for my fantasy off-roading that maybe that I probably won't ever do. And so this is just basically probably asking too much. And so in the long run, I believe you can actually save money. What I'm planning on doing here is keeping stock suspension. Drives great, handles great. Keep stock suspension. I'm going to probably have a set of dedicated on-road tires, maybe even full street, maybe all-terrain. They'll probably be a little smaller than this. Stock size is probably a 28 or a 29. And then have a dedicated set of off-road tires that when I want to go off-roading, I bring along with me that are absolutely psychotic. And the reason this will save me money is those off-road tires, as long as I keep them from dry rotting, will last essentially forever because they'll basically never be used on pavement. They can be a way stickier, way more aggressive tread pattern because they don't have to be DOT. And then every day that I drive the rig around on street or non-aggressive tires, I'll get the better ride, the better fuel economy, blah, 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 all that crap. I think in the long run, it's going to be the cheaper and better way to go. And for anybody wondering, like, what you can do in a Jeep on street tires, like, there's no point in my life where I should accidentally find myself in a situation that I can't get out of because I'm on street tires, especially if I've got a locker on the front. And especially if I carry some snow chains. You know, if I get out in the thick of it, out in some nasty stuff, and I've got snow chains in here in the mud, slap snow chains on the front of a locked differential on street tires, unless we're rock crawling, we're coming out. So, and not to mention the winch, right? That's like, how am I going to get stuck? So, you know, I don't know. I feel like there's a tried and true Jeep guy blueprint for all the Jeep Wave people, and that is a 2 to 3 inch lift and 33 inch tires. People don't understand suspension geometry, leaf spring geometry. It's funny probably for you guys to hear me that because I talk about edge geometry and knife geometry so much. It's exactly the same, and exactly as little is understood about it. With your shackle geometry and your leaf geometry, companies don't care. They're just going to sell you whatever leaf springs they want to sell you that they've been producing for 30 years because people will buy it and they will assume I've got a lifted Jeep. It handles like crap because it's a Jeep. No, it handles like crap because you have garbage suspension. Your shackle geometry is so bad that the shackles will not allow the lift to articulate, and you probably have a sway bar on there and track bars on there that are fighting against the natural movement of the leaf springs, and those were just put on there to appease the lawyers. They are completely unnecessary, I would say, if you're under, completely unnecessary, period. Completely unnecessary. The sway bar, yeah, keep your sway bar if you're on 5+ inches of lift. But I tell you what, I drove an XJ on 6 or 7 inches of lift with revolver shackles in the back and broke the sway bars because, like a normal idiot, I forgot to remove them on this one trail. And so I drove it without sway bars, and I was like, why would I even do sway bars? I would whip that thing in traffic driving extremely aggressively when I was that age and didn't have issues. To one point, almost had issues. I got it up on 2 wheels on the road at one point, but that was such an extreme situation that no normal person will find themselves in that situation. Anyways, so although there's a blueprint for how every Jeep bro uses their Jeeps, and there's nothing wrong with being a Jeep bro that never off-roads. There is nothing wrong with that. But if you want to actually use your Jeep, getting outside of the normal Jeep bro culture is probably a good idea. Doing a little bit more research and having a better idea of what you actually want to accomplish while off-roading is probably a good idea. That's a tick. I've had enough of the freaking ticks. I've already been demolished by these guys. I've got permethrin, so I should be fine. I don't even know how the crap he would have got on me. Between the tick and the poison ivy. Anyways, guys, bit of an update. Oh, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with being a Jeep bro, okay? And never putting mud tires on your Jeep that will never go off-road. That's fine. They're cool, and they have the potential for performance, which you may want. But if you actually want performance and you want to go wheeling, freaking lockers before light bars, and you need to know something about your suspension. These Leafs, for me, they will droop and they will flex all the way up. I don't have a lot of lift, so we're not talking about crazy flex, but basically just as much flex as you're going to get with Lynx, and it drives fantastic on the road. There is no reason for any moderately built Jeep to ride like crap, guys. Except for the components that you bought suck, and the company that makes them that sucks will continue to make them suck because they don't have to do any R&D. They can just keep selling crap and people will just keep making excuses for it. It's just like any other industry. Anyways, rock and roll. Talk to you later. Have a blessed day.